Hello everybody and welcome back to Rebellious Menstruation. What we are looking at today is the Anko period underwear. I have three in black, 3 pairs in black. I have this boy leg in the polka dot one, and then I have 3 in this blue. These are regular, these are heavy overnight. I think that's just a regular as well. So, obviously the explosion of the reusable period market has increased in the last kind of couple of years. When I first started using reusable stuff in 2016, it had remarkably grown in the industry had remarkably grown in like the 10 years previous. Before there was kind of like the Diva Cup, and I think there was the rubber cup from the US, the Keeper Cup, that had been around. So there were always things that had been around for years. Some companies had been around, obviously, since the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s, but they were usually kind of quiet or underground, or small businesses. So Diva Cup really came along and kind of pushed into a lot of markets as well, and the Keeper Cup as well. So then kind of from there we started getting stuff like Thinks and Modibody and Love Luna, which you would have seen the review of. There are vastly more period cups on the market now, including Tampax released one, Moxie, which is Moxie in Australia is a very big tampon company. They released a cup. Tom's Organic released a cup. So there's now a lot of even traditional period companies who had single-use disposable tampons and pads. They're now entering the market with reusable cups and biodegradable pads and all that type of stuff. So Anko, so Kmart, this is the Australian version of Kmart, in case obviously you aren't aware by the accent I have, is I'm Australian. And so in March 2021 Kmart launched their period underwear range. They initially released a bikini and a full brief option. These three are the full brief option. This is one of the more current models, which is and they released them basically in black, which is why these 3 black were from last year. These 4 are more recent additions, and it came in the boy leg and in these color ways. They're about $10 to $15 depending on which one you're purchasing. And so these while on the surface, obviously, as you can tell, kind of just look like normal underwear. These ones are probably, you'll be able to tell more. As you can see, there we go, this is the gusset section inside. So you're really able to see that these are more heavy overnights by the way that this inside is. And if you pick it up until you can tell that there is padding on the inside of that. These ones here, as regular ones, have less of, it's still there, but you'd probably say that the black ones are less likely to be, you'd say that these look like more just like underwear. And this bit here is vastly thinner than this overnight. So even in between these two, the gusset thicknesses are quite different. So you can actually use these as standalone protection, regular, and obviously these are heavy, or obviously how I use them is generally as backup to menstrual cup, Or with these ones here, because the gusset is so thin, I will use these as backup for pads. I will wear pads with these ones, because if it comes out, these are padded as well, and if I do leak, it doesn't matter because it's going to be picked up by the period underwear. I also can bleed around the outside of my pads, and so if I bleed around the outside and come into here, that's actually okay because this is all padded. These ones I can wear by themselves, but I usually would wear these for maybe 2 hours. I'd wear these the same length as I would a pad. If I'm heavy, I can really only wear a pad for about 2 hours, or I'd wear them as a backup to a menstrual cup. So they, as I said, there are the moderate absorbency and the heavy absorbency. I don't know if the bikinis come in heavy absorbency, but these are both the full briefs, and this is moderate and heavy. So I'm assuming the bikini would come in at least moderate. I don't know if they come in heavy, and these are made from mostly cotton, and the gusset has some polyester in them, and they go from 6 to 26, no, 6 to 20, so there's kind of a wider range of sizes, but not as wide a range as Modi Body. Modi Body does, I think, 4 to 26, I think. They, look, the shape of your underwear is obviously a personal preference, particularly when I'm on my period and I have probably a bit of bloating and I'm not feeling that greatest, or I might have back pain. The bikini is just not the way I go. It's always the full brief, just because I feel a bit more comfortable that way. But obviously you may feel quite different, so try and pick the ones that you would want to, that you like, or that you have a preference for, sorry. These heavy overnights do me overnight on, like, probably not night 1, on, like, definitely not night 2, and probably not night 3, but night 4. Yes, this can probably do me also day 4 and day 5 when I'm not that heavy. It's kind of just like a little bit. These would be fine for a couple of hours. I haven't ever leaked out of them, but I also, as I've been stating, I don't particularly use them by themselves. So I usually use them as a backup for what I'm wearing, either if I'm wearing pads and using this as a backup in case I leak, or using this as a backup to a menstrual cup that I'm wearing, or something like that. Or maybe if I'm really, really light and I'm not expecting a big gush, I wouldn't wear this by themselves on, day 2 or day 3, where I can be significantly heavier than the rest of my period. So you're the only one who's going to know what your period is like, and so I would recommend treating these probably like having a liner on or a light pad on, or a regular pad. I'd probably, even with these ones that are designated heavy overnight, I would probably designate them still as the regular as like a light or a liner, and the heavy overnight as a regular. And I'd probably, be aware, because I'm aware of my cycle, I use these appropriately for my cycle, and so therefore I don't leak. So therefore my period using these is a positive experience. I think sometimes the negative experience that you may have with these is because you've worn them when you've been really heavy, or you've worn them, you've still been testing them out, and the testing hasn't gone to your liking as well. But that's the other thing, probably test them at home first if you can, and see how much they're going to cope with, or how much they're going to take, and just kind of, that's kind of the best thing, is A, know your cycle and know when you're heaviest and lightest. B, treat the heavy as a moderate and treat the moderate as a light. And C, test them out at home so that you will know where you are in your cycle to actually warrant where this will sit, where you will wear it. I think a lot of negative experiences kind of come from, we use these with a certain expectation, and then when it doesn't work out that way, we get upset and blame the product. second thing, some products are terrible. These are not. These are actually quite good. For the price point, a Modi Body Heavy is about 40. So the Modi Body is about $35 to $45, depending on what type you're buying. The Modi Body that I wear as my overnights, my bamboo heavy overnight, I'm pretty sure they were like $43 per pair. So for the 3 pairs that I have for night 2, 3, and 4, or night 1, 2, and 3, depending on how heavy my cycle is and when I got it, that's like $120 worth of underwear for just 3 pairs. This whole set of 10 pairs would probably be like $100, $110. So I could get 3 pairs of period underwear, or I could get 10. 7. Is it 7? 6. Yeah, so this is 7 pairs of underwear. So I can get over double the amount of underwear for less money if I'm using this. So the price point is vastly different. I'm not going to expect something that cost me $12 to outperform something that cost me $43, but also I'm going to treat this, and I know what Modi Body will do, and I know how it will do it, and I know that I'm not going to leak overnight, even when I am heavy. I have soaked through them, the Modi Body, because I've been so heavy, but I haven't actually leaked onto my sheets or onto my bed or anything like that. So I know the limitations of my Modi Body, and I know the limitations of these, and I treat them accordingly. And so in which case I am happy with both Modi Body and Anko, because I treat them how they are, not how I want them to be. So I will point that out. They're pretty easy to take care of and wash. I rinse them out after I finish with them, and then throw them in a washing machine. So I rinse them out till they run free of blood, and then throw them in a washing machine. I don't soak them because I don't need to soak them, because I washed out the blood. You can actually do it this way with your pads. You can wash them out, rinse them out, and then, throw them in the washing machine. I'm just a bit lazy with my pads because I don't need to wash them out because I soak them. It's just treating them a little bit differently. These ones you don't soak, so you don't really soak your underwear because of the way that they're made. So, and sometimes what they're made with. So, I don't soak these, I rinse them out, which means I can just throw them straight in the washing machine. With my pads, which I don't rinse out, I throw them into a bucket of oxygen bleach and then throw them in the wash. They're just treated a little bit differently. So, yes, I actually kind of like these. These ones are practically identical to the ones that are made by Love Luna. These are also made in Indonesia. This bit here is practically the same as the Love Luna. It just says, instead of Anko, it says Love Luna here. And nearly all of this is exactly the same. That is what it says. If it's going to focus on what it says, maybe not. I might not want to. So this is very similar to what it puts on. So there we go. There are all the colour instructions on there, and these are all practically, that one might be a bit clearer to see. So these ones here are made in Vietnam, so this is probably a different, there we go. So this is the heavy overnight style, and this is the black moderate style, and these moderate style are practically identical to Love Luna. Outside of that, for the price point, they are great. They come in a variety. They come in more styles now. As you can see, this wasn't a style I could get when I first started, when I first bought my first couple. And these are the boy leg ones. So these are the boy leg. So boy leg, and these ones are so it is boy leg and brief, full brief. So yes, they're very good. I would definitely recommend getting these, and they're at a price point you can afford, so that's a bonus of both Anko. Anko's like the Kmart home brand. Love Luna is its own company that sells its stuff in places. Love Luna doesn't sell in Kmart because Kmart has its own brand, but it does sell in places like Target, Woolworths and Coles, and all of these companies, including this one, Anko, are definitely worth it when you're on a budget and can't necessarily afford all of the Modibody things, even though Modibody is also good. So I haven't tested things. I'm not really interested in testing things after they tested positive for PFAS, which is what you don't want in period underwear. And I haven't really followed up on that, but also because Australia has, I'd have to import them to Australia. They're not sold here. They're sold in America, and that's just for the price point that thinks would be. I'm not really overtly interested. But Modibody, Luna, Love Luna and Anko, they are vastly different price points, but are all valid and worthy of you getting them and testing them out. So thank you for watching. Enjoy your morning, afternoon or evening, depending on where you are in the day, and I will catch up with you all in the next video. Bye everyone.